Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn another stitch, and this is our lesson 3 of the series Crochet Basics 101. Now in this tutorial we're going to learn how to make a half double crochet. We've already learned how to make a chain, a single crochet, a double crochet. Now we're going straight to half double crochet. So as usual, we start with a slip knot. By now you already know how to make a slip knot. Then after making the slip knot, we'll make a chain. Make a chain of 20. I have my 20 chains, so we're going to start making the half double crochets. So to make the half double crochet, we'll add one more chain for a total of 21, then yarn over, go in the 20th stitch, put the hook through, pull a loop, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. Now to work the half double crochet, we yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops like that, and that is our first half double crochet. Next, we yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull a loop, get your 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the 3 loops, yarn over, go into the next chain, pull a loop, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go into the next chain, get your 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the 3 loops, and that is how we work a half double crochet. So work one half double crochet till you get to the end, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So right here I have one half double crochet into each of the 20 stitches for a total of 20 half double crochets. And there are several different ways in which you can work with half double crochets. So I'm going to show you 3 ways to work with half double crochets. So we start with the first one, and we are moving on to row 2. So chain 1 and turn. Now the first way of working with half double crochets is going into these holes that you can see right here and working a half double crochet into each of those holes, so, or the stitches. So what you do after chaining 1 and turning, yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull a loop, pull through all, and do this for the rest of the row. I'm coming to the end of row 2, and I have 2 stitches remaining right here. This is the most visible stitch, but then this one is not very visible. Make sure that you do not forget this particular stitch at the end. So right here we yarn over, go into that second last stitch, pull a loop, and pull through 3. So some people may forget this last stitch, but always make sure not to forget a stitch. Like we said earlier in the previous lesson, count your stitches to ensure that you have no doubt that you're working with the right number of stitches. So if you're counting these stitches, at the end right here, you should have a total of 20 half double crochets like that. Chain 1 and turn, and start with the very first half double crochet, or the very first stitch. We yarn over, go into that stitch, and into the next, and across, and work this for a total of 10 rows. Then I'll meet you at the end of the 10 rows and show you how your project should look like. So when you're working half double crochets right into these stitches that are very visible, you end up with something like this, very beautiful. When you're working a bigger project, it turns out very good when you use this particular way of working with half double crochets. So at the end right here, I'm going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn, then pull through and fasten. And we are done with our first way of working with half double crochets. Next, I'm going to show you the other way in which you can work with half double crochets. So start with a slip knot, make your chain of 20. After the 20 chains, make 1 more chain, then work the first row. The first row of this particular project, we work it the same way we worked the previous one. So 1 half double crochet into each of the 20 stitches or the 20 chains for a total of 20 half double crochets. So I put 1 half double crochet in each of the stitches for the first row. Now when we begin in row 2, that's where the difference comes in. So chain 1 and turn to move on to row 2. Now for this particular project, we were working half double crochet into these stitches, and that is how we end up with these lines that are left behind. Now if you do not want to have the lines, you do not work into the stitches. Instead, you work under the stitches right here. So you yarn over, go in between the first and the second stitch. Under that first stitch, put your yarn through, pull the loop and pull through. The next one, you work it in between the second and the third right here. So yarn over, go in between the second and third stitch, pull a loop, then pull through. Yarn over, go in between the third and the fourth, pull through a loop, then pull through all the loops. Then keep going like this. So for this one, you don't go on top of the stitches, but below the stitches right here. So this is what you have. Notice that there are no lines that are being left behind like in this one. So keep going till you get to the end. I'm coming to the end right here, and if you've counted your stitches, you notice that at this point right here you have 19 half double crochets, but you should have 10. So now we're going to the last stitch right here and put our last half double crochet right there. So make sure not to skip any stitch. And there we are done with our row 2. As you can see, there are no lines left behind. So next, to move on to row 3, chain 1 and turn, and start working below the stitches right from the first stitch right here. So work like this for a total of 10 rows, and I'll meet you at the end of the 10 rows. I'm done with that second piece right here. So at the end, I'm going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Sorry. So this is the second way of working with half double crochets. The stitches right here are also very beautiful. The difference is that in this first one, you can see lines. We leave behind lines. Then for this particular one, there are no lines at all. You can't see any lines. So those are two ways of working with half double crochets. So mostly I use this one when I'm making tops. Then for this particular one, I mostly use it for when I'm making sweaters, especially sweaters for boys. This is a stitch that I mostly use. So there we're done with two ways of working with half double crochet. Then next we get into the third one. We begin the third one the same way we began the first and the second, with a chain of 20, then half double crochet into each stitch for the first row. Then for the second row, that's where the difference comes in. So we chain 1 and turn. Now for this third method, we work the back loops only. So like in the first piece that we did, we were working into this stitch right here, and as you can see, we were working 2 loops through 2 loops. We have this loop and we have this loop that is behind right here. So this is called, the loop that is at the front here is called the front loop. Then the one at the back here is called the back loop. So for this particular piece, we are going to work the back loops only. So we will only be working these loops right here. These ones at the back. So we've chained 1 and turned. Then we yarn over, go into the back loop of the first stitch right here, the back loop alone, pull a loop through, pull through the 3, then yarn over, go into the next back loop, pull a loop, pull through all, yarn over, go into the next back loop, make a half double crochet, yarn over, go into the next, pull through, and we keep going like this. We work 1 half double crochet into each of the back loops of the previous row. I've worked 19 half double crochets and I'm at the end. I'm remaining with this last stitch right here. So to work that last stitch, we yarn over and go into this loop right here. It's at the back. Put the hook through, pull a loop, and then pull through all the loops. And there you have your total of 20 half double crochets in the back loops only. To chain 1 and turn to start row 3. Again we start working the back loops only. So yarn over, go into the back loop right there, so keep working like this for a total of 10 rows. Work every row in the back loops only. I'm done with the 10 rows in the back loops only, and this is what we have. This particular project, it's like you have valleys and rifts, and this particular project is very elastic. You can stretch out and you can also pull back together. So this particular stitch is usually used mostly when you're making a waistband. So if you want to make a waistband for a short or for a skirt or even for a dress, you can use this particular stitch whereby you work the half double crochets in the back loops only. So it's almost like the first one, but now for the first one we were working both the front and the back loops. This one we only work the back loops only, and for this one we work below the stitches. So these are the 3 different ways that you can work your half double crochets. Thank you for watching. Hope you've learned something new and it's going to help you in your crocheting journey. Bye.